Ladies and gentlemen, stop right there. I need you to hear this. Life is not waiting on 2026. Time is moving whether you're ready or not. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is telling themselves, next year I'll change, next year I'll start, next year I'll fix it. Next year is a lie we tell ourselves to stay comfortable today. If you keep waiting for 2026 to become better, stronger, wiser, you are going to wake up with regret so heavy it feels like a weight on your chest. Most people don't lose in life because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They lose because they keep waiting. Waiting is quiet, comfortable, and dangerous. It doesn't scream at you or force you to stop. It whispers later when you have more money, later when you have more confidence, later when things calm down. And before you realize it, years have passed and nothing has changed. Waiting doesn't feel like failure in the moment, but over time it becomes the reason dreams die. The truth is, there is no perfect time. If there were, someone would have found it already. Life will never slow down enough to hand you ideal conditions. You will always be busy, tired, unsure, or afraid. Waiting for the right moment is really just fear wearing a reasonable disguise. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of discovering you could have done more with your life. So you wait, and fear stays comfortable. Destiny does not respond to intentions. It responds to movement. You can think about changing your life all day long, but nothing changes until you move. God can give you vision, talent, and opportunity, but you still have to take the step. Faith without action stays a wish. The people who eventually win are not braver than you. They just move while they're scared. Every time you delay what you know you should do, you send yourself a message that your future is not urgent. You train your mind to accept average. You start settling, not because you want to, but because waiting slowly lowers your standards. You tell yourself, this is fine for now, and then for now becomes permanent. Waiting also steals time in ways you don't notice until it's gone. Time doesn't announce that it's leaving. 1 year blends into the next. Birthdays come faster. Responsibilities grow heavier. And one day you realize the window you thought would always be open is starting to close. The pain of realizing you waited too long is far worse than the discomfort of starting too early. The hardest part about waiting is that it makes you believe you're being patient when really you're being passive. Patience still requires effort. Patience doesn't mean standing still. It means moving forward without quitting. Waiting, on the other hand, is doing nothing while hoping everything changes. Hope without action is just another form of delay. If you want your life to change, you have to interrupt your comfort. Growth begins the moment you do something you've been avoiding. Make the call, start the work, cut the habit, leave the situation. Speak up. Begin before you feel ready. Readiness comes after movement, not before it. You were not created to watch life pass you by. You were created to participate, to stretch, to risk, and to grow. Every day you wake up is another opportunity, but opportunities expire when ignored. Waiting is not neutral, it is a decision, and it always costs you something. Stop telling yourself you'll start next year. Start now, imperfect and unsure. Action may not guarantee success immediately, but waiting guarantees regret. And regret is one of the heaviest things a person can carry. Your mindset is not just a part of your life. It is the foundation of everything you experience. The way you think determines how you respond, what you attempt, and what you believe is possible for you. Long before results show up on the outside, they are already formed on the inside. If your mindset is limited, your life will reflect those limits no matter how much potential you have. Many people say they want more, but their thoughts are still trapped in fear, doubt, and past failure. You can't create a new future while replaying old stories in your mind. If you keep reminding yourself of what went wrong, who hurt you, or what you done and have, you will unconsciously sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. Your mind will always look for proof of what it already believes. The biggest battle you will ever fight is not with other people or circumstances. It is with your own thinking. Negative thoughts don't usually sound negative. They sound logical. They say things like, that's not realistic. People like me don't succeed, or I'll try when I'm more prepared. Those thoughts feel safe, but safety is often the enemy of growth. Your mindset is either training you to move forward or conditioning you to stay stuck. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, your mind learns to avoid effort. Over time, you stop seeing possibilities and start seeing obstacles everywhere. This is how potential slowly disappears, not because it was taken from you, but because you stop believing in it. The moment you change how you think, your behavior starts to change automatically. When you believe your life can improve, you begin to look for solutions instead of excuses. You take responsibility instead of blaming circumstances. You start asking better questions, and better questions lead to better answers. A shifted mindset doesn't eliminate problems. It gives you the strength to face them. Your past does not have the authority to decide your future unless you give it permission. Failure is not a life sentence. It's information. Pain is not proof that you should quit. It's evidence that you tried. Every successful person you admire had moments where they doubted themselves, but they didn't allow those thoughts to become permanent beliefs. If you want different results, you must challenge your inner dialogue. Pay attention to what you say to yourself when things get hard. Are you encouraging yourself or criticizing yourself? Are you speaking possibility or repeating limitation? The words you think repeatedly become the directions your life follows. Changing your mindset doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with awareness. Catch the thought, question it, replace it. When your mind says, I can't, ask, what if I can? When it says, it's too late, remind yourself that today is still available. Progress begins when you refuse to agree with thoughts that keep you small. You were not meant to live beneath your potential. A powerful future requires a disciplined mind. Fix your mindset now, because if you don't, no amount of talent, luck, or opportunity will save you from the limits you place on yourself. Most people wait for motivation to show up before they take action, and that is exactly why so many goals never get finished. Motivation is emotional. It comes when things feel good and disappears the moment things get hard. If your success depends on how you feel, you will quit the first time discomfort shows up. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Discipline keeps you moving when your feelings tell you to stop. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep. It's working when no one is watching. It's staying consistent when results are slow. Motivation may start the journey, but discipline is what finishes it. Every successful person understands this truth, whether they say it out loud or not. The reason discipline feels so hard is because it requires you to say no to yourself, no to comfort, no to excuses, no to instant pleasure. And most people are not used to denying themselves. They want progress without sacrifice, results without effort, and success without discomfort. But life doesn't work that way. Everything valuable demands consistency and self-control. Discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when it's hard, you strengthen your confidence. You begin to believe in your own word. On the other hand, every broken promise to yourself weakens that trust. Over time, a lack of discipline doesn't just affect your results. It affects your self-respect. You don't need to be extreme to be disciplined. You need to be consistent. Small daily actions done repeatedly will always outperform occasional bursts of motivation. Reading a few pages. Every day beats reading a whole book once a year. Working out for 20 minutes consistently beats one intense workout followed by weeks of nothing. Discipline is about showing up, not showing off. One of the biggest lies people believe is that disciplined people have it easy. They don't. They simply made a decision that their future matters more than their comfort. They understand that temporary discomfort is a fair price to pay for long-term freedom. Discipline hurts in the beginning, but it pays you back later with confidence, results, and peace. When you lack discipline, life becomes heavier. Tasks pile up. Stress increases. Guilt follows you everywhere. But when you build discipline, life becomes simpler. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop overthinking. You just do what needs to be done, and the weight lifts little by little. Discipline also protects you from regret. When you look back and know you gave your best effort, even failure doesn't sting as much. Regret comes from knowing you could have done more but chose comfort instead. That kind of regret lingers far longer than the pain of effort ever will. You don't need to wait for a new year or a perfect plan to become disciplined. Start where you are. Pick one habit, one commitment, one promise to yourself, and keep it. Discipline is built one decision at a time, and every disciplined decision moves you closer to the life you say you want. The people you surround yourself with are shaping your life more than you realize. Every conversation, every influence, every shared belief is quietly affecting how you think, what you tolerate, and what you believe you deserve. You don't become like the people you admire from a distance. You become like the people you allow close to you. That's why the quality of your circle often determines the direction of your life. Many people stay connected to the wrong. Relationships out of loyalty, fear, or history. They say, I've known them too long, or that's just how they are. But time spent together does not equal permission to hold you back. Some people are only meant to be a chapter, not the whole story. Holding on to everyone can cost you everything. Your environment can either stretch you or shrink you. When you're around people who dream, plan, and push forward, their mindset challenges you to rise. When you're around people who complain, blame, and settle, that mindset slowly becomes normal to you. What you tolerate around you eventually becomes what you accept for yourself. Not everyone who smiles with you is for you. Some people are comfortable with you staying exactly where you are because your growth makes them uncomfortable. When you start changing, improving, and setting boundaries, you may notice resistance. That resistance is often a sign that you're outgrowing your environment. Fixing your circle does not mean hating people or cutting everyone off dramatically. It means creating boundaries. Boundaries are not punishments, they are protection. You can love people from a distance while choosing not to let their habits, negativity, or limitations influence your future. One of the hardest truths to accept is that some people benefit from your lack of progress. When you stay stuck, you don't challenge their choices. When you stay small, you make them feel safe. Growth often requires you to disappoint people who are committed to your old version. That discomfort is temporary, but staying small can last a lifetime. Your circle should include people who speak truth, not just comfort. People who challenge you, not just agree with you. People who celebrate your progress instead of minimizing it. If everyone around you thinks exactly like you do, no one is pushing you forward. Isolation isn't the answer, but intent. Ional association is. Seek environments where growth is normal, where discipline is respected, where faith is encouraged. Even if you don't feel like you belong at first, stay. Growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels familiar. As you elevate, access must change. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your time, energy, and emotions. You don't owe everyone the same level of closeness. Protecting your future sometimes means limiting access to your present. When you look back on your life, you'll realize that some of your biggest breakthroughs came after you changed who you listened to. Fix your circle now, because if you don't, it will quietly decide how far you go. When faith and purpose are missing, life becomes confusing and exhausting. You stay busy, but you don't feel fulfilled. You chase things, but nothing satisfies you for long. That's because faith and purpose are not optional parts of life. They are the foundation. Without them, every decision feels heavier and every setback feels final. Faith is not just about believing when things are going well. Faith is what holds you steady when nothing makes sense. It is the inner confidence that tells you your life has meaning even when results are delayed. Without faith, fear becomes your guide. You hesitate, overthink, and quit early because you don't trust that things will work out. Faith gives you the courage to move forward without needing guarantees. Purpose is what gives direction to your effort. When you don't know why you're doing something, it's easy to give up when it gets hard. Purpose is the reason you keep going when motivation fades. It turns pain into preparation and struggle into growth. A person with purpose can endure discomfort because they know it's leading somewhere meaningful. Many people live reactively instead of intentionally. They respond to pressure, opinions, and circumstance. CEs instead of being led by faith and purpose. When you live this way, you end up chasing approval, money, or status, hoping one of them will finally make you feel whole. But external success without inner purpose always leaves you empty. Faith teaches you patience without passivity. It reminds you that delay does not mean denial. Just because you don't see progress yet doesn't mean nothing is happening. Some seasons are about preparation, not visibility. Faith helps you trust the process when results are hidden. Purpose keeps you focused when distractions multiply. It helps you say no to things that look good but don't align with where you're going. Without purpose, everything becomes tempting. You start things you can't finish and commit to paths that don't fulfill you. Purpose simplifies your choices because it gives you clarity. When faith and purpose work together, they create resilience. You stop quitting at the first sign of difficulty. You stop taking setbacks personally. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is this teaching me? That shift changes everything. Your purpose is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's revealed slowly through obedience, consistency, and service. It often becomes clearer when you're willing to listen instead of rushing. Quiet moments, reflection, and prayer create space for direction. Noise creates confusion. Stillness creates clarity. Living with faith and purpose does not mean life will be easy. It means your life will be meaningful. You will still face challenges, but you won't face them alone or blindly. You'll know why you're standing, why you're fighting, and why you're continuing. Fix your faith and reconnect with your purpose now, not later. Without them, success feels hollow and struggles feel unbearable. With them, even hard seasons have meaning, and every step forward feels intentional. Change is uncomfortable, and that discomfort is the reason most people avoid it. Staying the same feels safer because it's familiar, even when it's painful. But what many people don't realize is that avoiding change doesn't eliminate pain. It only delays it. The pain you avoid today often returns later as regret, and regret is far heavier than the effort it takes to change. Regret has a way of sneaking up on you. It doesn't usually show up immediately. It waits quietly while you make excuses, postpone decisions, and settle for less than you know you're capable of. Then one day, when time has passed and opportunities have faded, regret speaks loudly. It reminds you of the chances you didn't take, the words you didn't say, and the potential you didn't use. The discomfort of change is temporary. It lasts a season. You feel it when you're learning something new, breaking a bad habit, or stepping outside your comfort zone. That discomfort is a sign of growth. Regret, on the other hand, has no expiration date. It stays with you because it's rooted in knowing you could have done more but chose not to. Discipline, effort, and sacrifice all ask something from you now. They require energy, focus, and consistency. But what they give back is freedom, confidence, and peace. Regret takes from you without giving anything in return. It drains your joy and keeps you mentally trapped in the past. Many people underestimate how heavy regret becomes over time. It turns into self-doubt, bitterness, and frustration. You start comparing your life to what it could have been. You replay moments in your mind, wishing you had acted differently. No amount of wishing can change what wasn't done, and that realization hurts more than any effort ever would have. Change asks you to take responsibility. It asks you to admit that some things won't improve unless you do. That honesty can be uncomfortable, but it's empowering. The moment you take responsibility, you regain control. You stop waiting for circumstances to change and start becoming the person who creates change. Regret thrives in delay. Every time you say later, you give regret more space to grow. Later turns into someday, and someday turns into never. Action shrinks regret. Even imperfect action is better than none because it keeps you moving forward instead of stuck in what ifs. You don't have to change everything at once. You just have to start. One decision, one habit, one honest conversation.